My grandpa's favorite sentence was, "Shabab mabtata," which means young people don't get tired. He'd say it all the time, like when we'd offer to carry his suitcase up the stairs, or when we'd be sitting around a table playing cards late into the night, and between yawns we'd ask him if he was ready to go to bed. It was always the same answer, "Shabab mabtata." And there was always a bit of mischief to the way the words came out of his mouth. Like he was convinced it was some sort of magic trick. It would fool us into forgetting the hunch of his back or the wrinkles on his hands. It would erase all traces of time from his features. Just long enough that we'd let him take the burden off our shoulders. He always said it jokingly, but he'd wear this smile and it really did make him look young. Somehow I think I always believed him. In fact, these days I look back and I think he is the youngest man I have ever known. Which is probably why no one was quite ready to let him go. Secretly, we were all convinced that he was immortal. Like, if anyone in this whole world could live forever, it was him. It had to be. When he and Grandma got sick, he was doing a lot better than she was at first. So we worried for her, but no one really questioned whether he'd make it. He was the strong one, after all. But just when she got better, he got worse, really suddenly. I like to imagine that he'd been holding it in until he knew for sure that she would be okay. When he was rushed to the hospital, there was no more gravity anywhere. I myself was countries away, but I felt it. The moment my feet lifted off the ground, I knew long before the panic and Mom's voice even reached my vicinity. He passed away alone, quarantined. In his last few days, he was confused. He didn't understand why no one would visit him. They would not let us visit him. And I think we've all been floating since, hoping that if we drift far enough, we might still catch him. Tell him that he was never alone and that he looks as young as ever. It had been 2 years since I'd last seen him, and I'd really love to hear him say those words again. But life has a weird sense of humor. And when Jiddo was my age, he was in the army and they actually sent him to London for a couple of years. And he'd always tell us these stories of the Queen and the Beatles and the weather. And there was always this playful look in his eyes with the memories of his youth. I moved to London just a few months after he passed. And so sometimes I like to think that we're still sitting around a table or playing cards, and I'm telling him how everything is just as he described. And when he asks me whether I've grown tired of the cold weather, I mirror his smile. I muster every inch of youth that I can. And with just the right amount of mischief on the tip of my tongue, I say loudly, loud enough that he could hear it wherever he is, "Shabab ma tata."